So this rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a quorum. We have a few members missing, but as long as we have a quorum, we're moving on. I'd entertain a motion to amend or approve the agenda. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Hearing none, all in favor. Approval of the minutes of June 18th, 2025. You should have received a copy of all of that. Is there a second to approve the minutes? John is seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Hearing none, all in favor. Well, updates from the Board of Adjustments. Jordan, you have anything?
Yeah, we had one prime soils variance today. It was a 2-acre parcel of record that was a wooded lot, and we approved that one.
Do you remember the name on it or anything?
Yes, it was Colton Pearson is the person who's going to be buying the lot.
Where's it at?
It is in St. Charles Township on County 37, I believe. Just south of 14.
I think it.
There was a 2-acre, it was originally 3 parcels. It got a variance in 1994 from subdivision regulations. And it's been vacant since then.
Okay. Marcia's not here, so we won't have a county board update unless somebody here knows something that I don't. Okay. Just kind of a brief update of how the comprehensive plan is going. This would be the work group steering committee.
Yeah, yep. So we had our first steering committee meeting a few weeks ago. The consultants came into town and did an introduction overview of the process and the project. Since then, we attended the county fair. Wednesday to Sunday, we had about 280 comments on some boards that we had out, asking people what they loved about the county and where they like to spend time. Just really trying to get exposure for the project and kind of what the plan is and what we're doing. Next, we do have an online survey that's available right now, as well as paper copies. And then we will be attending the township officers meeting. I believe it's August 13th would be the next meeting date. Any questions?
Any?
Yeah,
Did you have the website for the survey at the fair?
we did.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to the petitions. The first one I have on is docket PC 07-17-2501. This is to consider a petition from William and Carol Ebert, property owners, and Andrew Kretaski, is that correct for pronunciation?
I think so.
Petitioner who seeks a conditional interim use permit for the following: to allow a new residential building site dwelling and the ag resource conservation zoning district of less than 40 acres in pursuant of Winona County zoning ordinance chapter 10.4.6 parentheses 32.6 and 5.5.4.2 of our zoning ordinance. So Eric, I think you got this one.
You bet. Well, good evening. This is a conditional use permit to allow a new building site on less than 40 acres. And your chair had read the applicable sections to that ordinance. Let's see, maybe, I got to power this thing up. Okay. This is in New Hartford Township, Section 9, parcel number indicated. And they are looking to divide 10 acres off of that quarter section. It's located along Store Drive, and again, in New Hartford Township. The applicant's site plan shows their orientation in which they would develop the 10 acres. It would be relatively a short distance off of the township road. The applicants have indicated about 114 feet from the road, and it would be approximately 93 feet from the eastern property line. And again, this is 10 acres. There's a couple of other exhibits. This is a rendering that I did with GIS to show the approximate 10-acre parcel. It's predominantly woods as you get to the wood line with steep sloping terrain as you go to the north into that parcel. And it's right at the end of Store Drive. So the public road or the township road comes to an end basically at this parcel. It serves a couple of other residences, and some of the other exhibits will show the characteristic of the neighborhood. The two surveys that we had received from Johnson and Schofield is one with an aerial overlay showing how the 10 acres would lay in the terrain. The one on the right is your certificate of survey, which essentially shows the dimensions of the 10 acres. We did, as all building sites, look at the prime soil consideration. And with this 10 acres, what this exhibit is showing is that approximately just under 2 acres would be subject to the prime soil, and that's the general vicinity which they would be building. However, when we use that equation on that 10 acres, it's about 20% of the parcel. So our standard is the 40%. So it meets our soil criteria. They will not need a variance or Board of Adjustment application with this request. Couple of views. This is looking back to the west along Store Road. You can see off to the right of the township road is the realty sign, which the owner and the applicants, I believe they are have been in the process of purchasing, and may even be complete. That would be something that the applicant could speak briefly on. Also in the distance with the red barn is the original property owner, the Eberts, William and Carol, and their homestead is located on that parcel. It would correspond with some of your mapping exhibits. This is the site that they've kind of indicated to mark the building site. The applicant has indicated that it would be a one-level barn dominium. It would be like, I guess we've seen some different variations of housing choices like the houses and whatnot, but the barn dominium would be partially for probably like a garage, and then probably with living quarters. And they've indicated that it'd be approximately 150 feet, 100 by 50 in dimensions. This is a view panning looking north at the township road, and you can see the eastern tree line is the property line. That would correspond with that one exhibit that you have. And this is looking somewhat to the southwest. What is noted in the staff report is that there's been 2 other divisions that have occurred, one in 2021 and I believe one in 2023, which involved 20 acres with each of those sites. And those also represent conditional use permits where they had gone through this process in order to build those 2 dwelling sites. This is a view looking at the dead end portion of that township road. It serves a couple of sites. As you go to the east, there's a building site, and veers off to the right, kind of more to the south. To the southeast, there's another building site. The petitioners did meet with New Hartford Township on May 8th, and the town board indicated that they had no comments in regards to this request. As with all the conditional use permits, staff recommends considering all the materials and the testimony and making the decision, and a review of the findings of fact that have been done by our county attorney's office. The staff report and the findings that have been drafted by staff and this generally supports the petition as a conditional use permit. And staff has also recommended the imposition of 4 conditions to go along with that approval, should you make that to the county board. And with that, I guess, is there any questions up front that I can answer?
Anybody from the commission? Jordan.
When would subdivision rules apply to this?
These parcels have all been exempt because as I mentioned, the first 2 were 20 acres and they had considerable road frontage. We're talking, 20 and 20, that'd be probably roughly 600 to 700 feet of road frontage. And this one has over 300 feet and is over 5 acres too. So all 3 of these are, the history of the ones that have occurred were exempt as well as this one because of their size.
Okay.
Anything else? Thanks, Eric.
I'll turn it over to the public hearing.
Would the petitioners like to come up and speak on your project and just state your name and your address? Anybody's willing?
Hi, hello. My name's Andy Pretaski.
And your address?
I live at 600 Copeland Avenue, La Crosse.
Okay.
But north side of La Crosse.
And then go ahead and tell us. I just need it for the record.
Tell you what,
I needed your address and stuff for the official record that we recorded.
600 Copeland Avenue, La Crosse, Wisconsin, 54603.
And now you can go ahead and tell me what you want to say.
Just want to know a little bit about what we want to do or,
You're in charge now.
oh,
So you tell us as much as you want.
well, me and my girlfriend, she's back there, Molly, we met the Eberts and the Realtor and we just really fell in love with the land. And it's 10 acres and the rule needed, with the 40 acre rule and, we're applying for the conditional use permit because, it's a nice private piece of land and we really love it and we want to build a barn dominium. It's got everything we're looking for and that's about it.
Okay, any questions from the commissioners?
No question.
We've got a good outline, if you had some.
Good
yeah.
news.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Tom, or I'm sorry, what, do the Eberts care to contribute or? We know who you are. All right. Thank you very much.
Is a decision made tonight or not
We're
today?
we decide on a recommendation for it. It will go to the county board on August 12th.
So
And
that's
they
when,
will finalize
so August 12th was when a final,
yeah,
yes or no?
correct. And that's at 9 a.m.
Okay,
I'll be here.
all right, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, do I have a second to open the, all in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Hearing all in favor. The public hearing is now open. So anybody wishing to speak for or against this petition, please come to the microphone, state your name and address, and tell us your concerns. I'm not seeing anybody. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this petition, please come to the microphone, state your name and address and your concerns. Okay, for the 3rd time, anybody wishing to speak for or against this petition, please come to the microphone and state your name and your concerns.
We'll move to close the public.
Is there a second to close the public hearing? All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Hearing none, all in favor. So now the public hearing is done. What do you want to do, commissioners?
I'd move approval with the facts and findings and the conditions that they have.
Yeah, and they're on page of your book, it'd be on page 20 through 22. And Eric has outlined these already. Is there a second to Louis' motion?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on it. All in favor of recommending this petition, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Hearing none, we're all in favor of recommending this petition to the county board. And your date is Tuesday, August 12th at 9 a.m. Okay? So we'll move on to the second petition. Gotta catch up on my paperwork here. On this petition, the petitioners seek a conditional use permit to allow cannabis cultivation operation in the Ag Resource Conservation District, the zoning district in pursuit of Winona County zoning ordinance, chapter 10.4.6 and chapter 12.2.2. And Eric, take it away.
Yep, okay. Again, similar to last month's meeting, we have another request for a conditional use permit under 10.4.6 and also 17.22. You recall the new chapter 17 was the cannabis section addendum that we approved earlier this year. And this property is zoned agricultural resource conservation. This is again a New Hartford Township, section 13. It has a current address of 30530 Valley View Road. There is no dwelling on this property at this time. There were existing is 2 metal pole buildings. I believe the historic use was raising horses on the site. And it's slightly over 18 acres in size. Kind of an irregular shaped. Again, Valley View Road is a township road that serves these property. And what is unique is that it comes to an end or terminates right at the juncture of all the adjacent neighboring properties and this property as well. Some pictures will kind of highlight that. Another site plan that they submitted in conjunction with some of the permitting kind of shows that there is segments of woods, it's just that border the property, and it's kind of a valley setting, kind of regular and elongated, and it's got some of the adjacent property owners next to that parcel. It's kind of showing in regards to their operation request, there's a 54 by 32 pole building, and then a larger one, 100 by 62, directly adjacent in line with it. They propose, I think, starting out at a quarter acre, or maybe they do ask permission for a half acre or 0.5 acre for outside grow. They also do plan with their operation to have indoor grow as well. Some of these pictures were early in April, so that you can see kind of existing, conditions prior to leaf on conditions. But those are the 2 structures that are on the applicant's property. And this is looking, I believe, to the east. Again, this is looking to the south where the horse pasture area is. And it's, you can see it starts to go up kind of steep as you go to the east there. And it's also bordered by a tree line on the west. And this is now current pictures I've taken fairly recent. And this is the view looking at the site as you come in off of the driveway. And looking back to the south at that pasture area in which they wish to have the cultivation area. This is the point in which the driveways come off of Valley View Road. The first one is looking to the east. Second picture on the right is looking to the west. This property is flanked by residential properties. And I think the staff report points out what the approximate distance is from those. It comes up, I can revisit that. This is earlier, the spring picture, looking back at the north at the properties as you enter this property, looking back into that area. The city of Dakota is within a half mile of the site as you're going back to the north. This is looking at the private drive entrance from the north into the petitioner's property. It currently has kind of white picket fences that border the property. Staff understands that the petitioners did meet with the township board on July 10th. And they indicated that the township is not in support of the request. And to continue with that, they cited two statements from what I could discern with the form. One, the unfamiliarity with the cannabis legislation or legalization, and concern regarding neighbor opposition to it. The planning commission should consider all the materials and testimony before making findings that support the decision. The staff report, as far as the findings that are held up against this permit, as far as a decision, generally support the granting of this conditional use permit. And should the planning commission decide to approve the petition, staff has drafted 5 conditions for your consideration. With that, I'll ask any questions that you have.
Any questions from the commissioners? Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
I apologize, I did not introduce the petitioners. It's Heather and Garrett Johnson and Justin Johnson. So with that, could I have our representative or all the petitioners come up? Tell us about your project. And state your name and address.
Perfect. I'm Justin Johnson, and I live at 30945 Lakeview Avenue in Red Wing, Minnesota.
Thank you.
All right. So a little bit of history about myself. Like I said, my name is Justin Johnson. I have been the president, or I am the president of the company that will be using this conditional use permit for cannabis. I have been in the Minnesota Hemp Pilot Program for the last 5 years, cultivating hemp up north. I have, on the other sides of this industry, I have started a retail location down on 3rd Street, the Rippled Leaf. Under my 2 years of operation, I passed every inspection that the state and county threw at us. We were going to be, or we were the we were the control group for the gummies used in testing in Winona State to see what was a good gummy versus what ones are you getting that are going to have either heavy metals in them or something that wouldn't be good for consumer intake. And we were the control group that was showing what good quality looked like. I also produced packaging in my time. So under Rippled Leaf Farms, I made child compliant packaging that was also 100% compostable. So in all aspects of this, I've had a lot of experience developing, farming, and producing high quality products in this industry that were also safe for safe for our communities. And yeah, something I can be respected and meet all testing. A little bit about the project we're looking at here. I'm hoping to grow a ½ acre. That's what my license would allow us to grow. And we're hoping for that back area far off the road behind our pole barns. That is our prime location we're looking at right now. It's out of the view of all neighbors. We don't really want to make a big scene. When we were up north, the biggest thing for 5 years, we had no security complaints. We didn't need any fencing, so we didn't have any fencing, but we never needed to implement any because nobody ever came around, because we just blend right into the background. We make very little noise, and that is one of the ways that we remain the safest in our industry. A little bit more about the indoor location. The indoor location is going to be outfitted with all of the correct carbon filtration. So you'll have very little to no odor coming from that indoor grow. And we'll meet all, of course, fire code, safety code, any code that the state puts on us, we are confident we're going to be able to meet. And gosh, I'm just racking my brain here for any other, traffic. I remember hearing from when I went to the New Hartford Township, one of the concerns was going to be, is there going to be a lot of traffic coming down our road? It is a small road, and they were concerned that we'd have trucks coming in and out or a lot of people coming in, and we have no intention or just any plans for having any sort of retail space. This is going to be strictly agricultural, so I'll have at most 2 to 3 people help me harvest, and that's at a very, twice in the summer or whenever we have harvest, but it's a very infrequent time. It's not every week. So we will not have many people coming down the road for purchasing. That is not allowed on our property. We are only going to be cultivating and then transporting our product off to different retail locations. no traffic coming down our road, or we don't, no more than a two-person household. Gosh. Any, I would like to mention as well, I know as Minnesota is transferred into a legal market, there's a lot of concern about cannabis use and how it's going to affect communities. And one of the things I'd like to remind everybody is cannabis is here right now. In fact, the markets in states that overregulate and restrict small, especially family farms, find that the black market surges, or we have surges from out-of-state cannabis that is much less regulated. And having passed the rigorous testing that Minnesota has, and knows how to grow organically and not spray things on our cannabis that is going to be harming our customers. Our cannabis is, we produce cannabis and products that are safe and regulated instead of having something come in that is sprayed or laced or we just don't know the origins of. We are a safe alternative to what is currently going around Minnesota. And I want to be able to continue producing safely and quietly is our goal back here. If there's any questions I can answer from the board, otherwise I can try to keep rambling, but I don't have too much.
Let's see what the board has or commission.
Oh, just, I think I read somewhere that you're going to concentrate on local businesses for your product?
Yeah, so there is a building in La Crosse going up right now. I know that is a current dispensary. The shop I owned in Winona, the Ripple Leaf, is now the Sugar Leaf, and they are a qualified applicant as well. I know, gosh, I can't remember the owner of Hazy Days, but right now I'm focusing mainly on Winona. I would like to stay in the county if I can.
What are you going to do to provide security around the situation?
So,
That people find that you're not that far from Winona State and St. Mary's.
Right. So Minnesota has some pretty rigorous security that we need to implement to be able to get our license. So we'll have a final inspection that proves that around our outdoor cultivation, we'll have at least a 6-foot high fence. We have to have infrared and security that encompasses every square inch of our outdoor grow. On top of fences, we have motion sensor lights, and we have fences for on the driveway, and then cameras pointed back. There is no access in the back there, just snowmobile trails, but there is no road connecting the back of our property to the front, but we will have cameras focused out there as well. I would like to mention as well for security, in all of the 5 years I grew up north, hemp and cannabis look identical to each other. They smell identical to each other, and we have I guess near Hibbing, Minnesota, if you know the population, there is a little bit more theft up there. In all my 5 years, I had never had a security issue. And mostly that came from being quiet and just, not making a big ripple. And that's what I intend to do here too.
So did you have the same security system in your previous grow area?
That wasn't required for a license. So this will all be on top of everything else. And we will have the state inspector come in. Yeah.
I had another question that was kind of curious.
Yeah.
I know you use the buds and then the leaves and the stalks and everything else.
Yes.
Is there ever going to be a market for the stalks, like for fiber or anything like that?
That is, it's a slightly different plant, but that would be in the future. I would love to get in more into the industrial side. That's industrial hemp. It doesn't have any of the flower product that the CBD, CBG, and THC does. The bud structure on there. It's just about 8 foot of fibrous crop, and that one is it's incredible. I'd love to get into it, but our plant it doesn't produce. It produces it, but not in the same way. So the structure isn't as good.
Can't you utilize it?
No, we'll be using it for compost, but yeah, if I could make paper, I would though. That'd be cool.
Right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Do I have a second to open the public meeting?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye to open the public meeting. Aye. Nay, if you oppose, all in favor of opening public meeting. When I have people come up, I want you to try to limit your concerns to about 3 minutes. This time I'll go back over it. So at this time, I'd ask anybody that wishes to speak for or against this petition to come to the microphone, state your name and address. And again, tell us your concerns, and we'll try to get through everybody. So the public meeting is open, the mic is open. So anybody that wishes to come up and speak for or against the petition, we're glad to hear from you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Hunter Gross, and my wife Emily and I live at 30544 Valley View Road in Dakota, Minnesota. The property directly adjacent to this one in question here tonight. We have lived there for the last 6 years and are currently raising our 2-year-old son. In a few weeks, we have a newborn baby coming. I want to thank you for your time this evening for allowing us to speak regarding our concerns with this conditional use permit to allow cannabis cultivation operation next to our home. To start, we felt uncomfortable with the letter from the Winona County being the first point of contact, mentioning the CUP and planning of the property. Additionally, felt very disappointed that there was no prior outreach from the Johnsons with an introductions of themselves, their plans to cultivate and harvest next door. Their application was posted on July 9th, stated that they had prior conversations with the township. However, when attending the township meeting on July 10th, the New Hartford Township Board seemed completely in the dark with no prior knowledge of what his intentions were for being there. So with that and the lack of information and timeliness of sharing, his plans were a factor for the township's board of do not support. Our concerns: a burden on the existing road. Half of Valley View Road, where the city of Dakota and New Hartford Township meet, the road becomes a single lane dirt road with only a few wide enough areas to pull over to the side to allow others to pass, with steep ditches on each side. With an undisclosed number of vehicles and time of operations, this could create serious hazards for the residents who call the valley home. Property depreciation. This is a double-edged sword. The Johnsons paid 157% over the county's tax assessed market value. The acceptable standard for the assessors is between 90 and 105% of true market value. With this, they will disproportionately increase property taxes as the neighbors we must pay. And then when the time comes, when we so choose to sell, there'll be the true market and desirability of the properties will be diminished. Since legalization in Minnesota is new, there's no in-state data showing this. However, if we look across the country, there are numerous examples of how cannabis farms have negatively impacted surrounding property values. For instance, in the state of Colorado, home prices per Realtor.com said homes within a half-mile of cannabis business offer a lower property value than homes with the same county that are farther out, and that neighborhoods with grow houses are at least the least desirable with an 8.4% price discount. In the state of Washington, in Spokane County, the county assessor's office determined that neighboring properties of a cannabis farm was devalued by 10%. In the state of California, the Superior Court had a class action lawsuit against Valley Crest Farms that involved the residents within a 1-mile radius of their farm seeking damages for the horrible odors and that emitted from the grow operation, affecting their property values, business, and overall quality of life. With the Johnsons' plan for an open-air, unfiltered outdoor cultivation area, that 1-mile radius from their location will affect nearly half of the residents of Dakota. Application states that indoor grow facilities are not visible from the adjacent land. We can see the existing buildings on Mr. Johnson's properties from our driveway and 4 of our daily used outbuildings. The vegetation tree line that they claim secludes them from the view of the outdoor cultivation area is all situated on my property. So when the time comes that those trees are mature for harvesting, they'll be wide open for visibility. The application also states that they are hoping for a second outdoor grow facility. However, the cultivation area is not listed in the application. Security requirements and undesirable detention. I work for a local general contractor, and for the past several months, I've worked alongside with clients that are looking to start dispensaries here in the Coulee region. So I'm quite familiar with the security requirements that these facilities require. Commercial grade security fencing, 24/7 security cameras, exterior floodlighting, card access control, vaults to keep product overnight, secured transportation. These are not signs of a small scale operation, nor are they typical of any other farming operation. All these measures are mandated by the state for obvious reasons. This type of business is highly prone to criminal activity. With that criminal activity, it could cause a burden on emergency services. God forbid that there is an emergency. We are situated in the far corner of the county and currently receive minimal attention from law enforcement, as Dakota is a quiet bedroom community with no police force. In closing, council members, I urge you to take all these points into consideration when voting tonight, whether or not to permit cannabis cultivation operations, as it will certainly not affect myself, my close neighbors, as well as the town of Dakota. With the hazard on the road, depreciated property values, unbearable odor, and the undesired attention, that will not be harmonious with the surrounding area that we call our home. Thank you.
Thank you. I let you go a little longer because you're giving us new
Yeah,
information.
I didn't know it was limited to 3 minutes. I thought it was 10.
But you were giving me new information. When it gets repetitive, that's the idea behind that 3
Yeah,
minutes.
I appreciate
So
it. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and your address and your concerns. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Jim Gross, Hunter's dad, and I see you brought your parents and you're proud of your kid. And I live on 386 Valley View Road. I just purchased this property about 2 months ago. I've been through a lot of county meetings, and I understand when Lewis said we're late to the dance. The problem is we were never invited to the dance till 10 days ago. How do you fight something that you detest when you weren't part of the conversation to begin with? You guys said here, the staff was out in April looking at this property. Not one neighbor has heard about it until you guys sent us a letter. I got it on July 7th. There has to be some laws that give us information that we can deal with this. We're not organized. This is all new to us. I know the state has a gun to your head trying to get you to pass this stuff, but it's still dangerous. I'm 63 years old. I've dealt with the drug problems. I've had deals with, they talk about they're going to be safe for this environment because the black market is bad. The black market hates these guys. They hate the government because they're making a lot of money. And guess what? He doesn't think they're going to come after him. They'll come after him. And the problem is he doesn't live there. We do. And there is no way to stop that. And there is no protection for us. When I had 2 drug dealers in my convenience store, the cops have their hands tied. The judges don't give a shit. This stuff has been around for years. It's not new. And you give us 2 minutes and he gets 20 and we just found out about it 10 days ago and we ain't lawyered up. We ain't done anything. We're just people who've been paying taxes here forever. And you got an out of towner coming in saying, hey, I'm the new farmer. I've been it for generations. He's growing pot for 5 years.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address and your concerns for or against this petition. So the mic is open. Anybody else wishing to speak for or against this petition, please come to the microphone and state your name and address and your concerns. Okay, for the 3rd time, anybody else wishing to speak for or against this petition, please come to the microphone. Tell us your name and your address and tell us your concerns. Motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Is there a
Second
second?
that.
Motion to end the public meeting, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So all in favor. Now, any discussion amongst our group?
I think you could probably predict that I would say that something that the state of Minnesota has declared legal. I'm always reluctant to interfere with people's right of how they use their personal property, personal land, as long as it's legal. I have no problem with it.
Thank you, John. A couple of things, I know it was brought up that not enough information in our public hearings. Unfortunately, the county of Winona's hands are tied. The state limits us to 30 days. It's unfortunate, isn't it? Because we usually have a lot more time. And if we don't squeeze it in that 30 days, they automatically get it without a hearing. So we didn't set the parameters. I just wanted to let the public know that we don't have as much liberty as we would like. And that was a contentious discussion, but we weren't able to change that. So that was part of the issue tonight, is not being informed. And I don't disagree with you. I think you should have a lot more time than that. This county thinks you should have more time than that. But we were outflanked because we're lower than the state. Okay, back to the commissioners. Anything else for discussion?
I appreciate the impassioned plea that you provided. Unfortunately, my feeling is that marijuana has become the new agriculture. It's going to be grown in the state. Best thing that can be done is make sure that it meets all the standards, all the requirements. Talk about odor. Sure, I can complain anytime my neighbor puts pig manure on his field with the odor. It's difficult, but when you're in an agricultural area, that you're going to be exposed to various odors. Granted, I do not know the type of odor from just growing the plant, and but knowing that you're going to with the HVAC system in for the internal, and I'm not with a half acre of marijuana out there, I'm not sure exactly how much odor that would produce in an area, so I can't really say that much about that. Security, if all the security is met, people basically are going to be aware that there is, if they know that that's out there, that the state has mandated that they have a certain level of security.
And that's in our manual
Yeah.
from 59 to 71 that you all got.
Yes.
And you're right, that is required by the state of Minnesota.
I think having the ability to purchase marijuana or cannabis products legally will probably reduce the risk of anybody going out and trying to steal plants. I mean, plus there's enough information out there on how to grow their own. It's as for black marketing or racketeering, that I doubt seriously that a major thing would come in to take over a half acre grow situation. To them, it probably is not a significant opponent to what they need to do. So
As it increases in Minnesota, it's going to be spread out farther and farther.
yeah,
There's no way to interfere in that, really.
If anybody wants to know about odor, it is a stinking weed that has it, that's grown wild on my ranch for years. And it is a hell of a tough weed to get rid of. Stuff has an odor. Once you smell this stuff, you know what it is. Doesn't matter if it's the high THC or if it's ditchweed.
you're talking about the hemp ditchweed.
Yeah, but
It's got an odor all to its own. And when it's in a fire, it's got all an odor to itself too.
That, but that's not, I mean, they're cultivating it. It's, I guess the question.
It doesn't matter where it comes from, it stuff still stinks.
That it won't be processed on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, you drive by pastures full of it all the time and you don't notice it. I mean,
Well, I had it
and
growing
people
right
live
next to the house and I didn't much care for it, and I turned around, I figured out the only best weapon for it is an M18 salt, Milwaukee Sawzall. But that's here and there, but, I feel for these people affected, the real estate values going on, because I've seen other valuations in property of Colorado. I also know about the troubles that they've had in California about it, the other people grow it back, and the gangster activity texted other people growing it. Heard about that situation, they even showed it on TV.
But
We
our
have so little
specific petition though, we've
Yeah,
got
I-
detail, the fences and the confinement.
We have so little control over how our property value changes over time, depending on what our neighbors build or do. It's, you know, I mean, it's
Saratoga
a fact
Township
of
will be
life.
dealing with that, with the strong presence of Wayne Beachy and the Amish coming in and greatly overpaying for property there, and
And-
that's been driving up.
Having been trained in the equalization, no one property dictates the value. It's gonna be an average. In fact, they throw the high one out in the low, but it's well taken
Mhm.
that when anybody buys something for more, that's gonna bring attention to that. So certainly it won't go down. I mean, you can say that where it is, but we all live in that world, whether you're there or Saratoga by Rochester or anywhere, so.
And that was
property
my
value.
point, it's
Yeah.
just, you may feel they overpaid for the land, but that's what they were willing to pay, just like somebody else, if they wanted to piece the
America.
property and they were willing to pay, over. It's,
Let's see, yeah, taxes, that falls into the same thing. We did get on the findings of fact, you know, the road concerns, the EMT and that type of thing. Jordan, do you have anything?
as far as that goes, or in general?
Anything in general with the
Um,
petition?
No, I really don't. I just see it as a land use issue like everything else we talk about, and there have been people on this board that don't think that solar panels work necessarily, and we've still voted in favor of someone using their land in the way that they see best fit, so that's the way I'm leaning on this one.
And again, just so everybody in the room knows, okay, we're a commission, we're hearing from the public, we heard from the petitioners. The final say on this comes to the county commissioners. Our vote is only a recommendation or a non-recommendation, okay? Wherever this goes, it goes through another level, okay? So it isn't done tonight yet, and that is on August 12th. Try to conform with all the rules and regulations. So any other comments before I ask for suggestions?
Can I ask the petitioner, since he's grown this before on that, what the actual usage on the road?
Yes, you can ask that.
You know, I think a lot of people would think like semi, you know, they want to stay away from dump trucks, they want to stay away from semis, they want to stay away from big farm equipment. With your experience, what's the type of road usage once you're up in operation?
So we are not allowed to transport ourselves. The transporter I'm looking at right now has a pickup truck and a trailer. Our flour gets packed into food safe 27-gallon totes and then is put into that. Like you said, on a half acre, we can produce about 42 totes at our maximum capacity, and that can fit well within, that trailer just pulled behind a regular pickup truck.
So basically they'd come twice a year to pick up your.
Twice a year, or if I'm able to, I'd speed up harvests to once every 2 months. Would be if we have our indoor operation running.
And you're not gonna be running any retail, so there won't be any additional traffic.
No additional traffic.
I'd like to ask, well, odor came up. Can you address that? I think that's fair.
Yes, odor is fair. Cannabis is inherently smelly. I would like to point out, though, it really only picks up during the last weeks of growth. So if we have a full summer for our outdoor harvest, we'll have all the way out through the summer until about when flowering starts, and that can be August to September, depending on the cultivar I grow. And that's when it gets smelly, and then we harvest in October, and the smell goes away. So it's really 2 months of noticeable odor if you're in the vicinity. If the wind is blowing the other way, I guess that's, yeah, it smells, but only for 2 months.
But can
Yes.
you give me a distance? Is it 2 miles, 50 yards? Depends
Funny,
on the wind, prevailing
yeah,
wind.
on the wind. And then when you live there, you start to get used to it. We have neighbors that are closer, or we have up on my old farm in northern Minnesota, we had neighbors closer. We never had complaints. We talk to them. It really depends on where the wind is blowing. So if you have something coming off a field and going directly at their house, we had barbecues out there, you get a whiff of it, but it wasn't aggressive. If you're in the greenhouse, you'll be able to smell it well. If you're down at the end of our driveway and the wind is going the other way, I wouldn't think you would be a problem. Of course, this is, it's pretty subjective to the variables going on in the environment, but yeah. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, commissioners, where do we go?
Close that.
We closed the public hearing. Now we're either recommend or not to recommend. We
Make a
got
motion
findings of
to
fact.
recommend with the conditions and findings of fact.
That's fair enough. And do I have a second? You made that motion, right?
Yes.
Steve, second. So we have a motion. Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor of recommending the petition to go forward to the county board, say aye. Aye. Anybody abstain or nay? Abstain. So I have four for it. So it's going to go to the county board on August 12th at 9 a.m. Be in this room. And tell your county commissioners your concern, because it's always been in their hands, really. So 4-1, one nay, and 4 votes, so that's the majority. Any other concerns before I ask for a motion to adjourn? Steve.
Just want to clarify, did Commissioner Ryman vote nay or did he abstain?
He abstained.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, he abstained. Motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. To not adjourn, say nay. Didn't think I'd hear anybody, so all in favor of adjourning.